Hi, my name is Abdel. As you may know, security is major concern in networking environment. From using secure protocols like IPsec, VPN, tunneling, authentication, by verifying that you are who say you are. Authentication is used in different environments, including routing protocols like OSPF. OSPF uses three types of authentication. Type 0, which is no authentication at all. Type 1, which is based on a plain text password. The password is sent in a plain text over the wire. Maybe nobody wants to use it. And type 2, which is based on MD5 hashing algorithm, which is the most ISPs and the most administrators using nowadays. I want to show you in this video how to configure OSPF authentication. I have a couple of routers. They are all loaded, configured with IP addressing and everything. I will bring them up and we will configure authentication between two routers. So let's get started. We'll bring a secure CRT. We are now on router 3 and we have a neighbor formed in OSPF, so I already configured OSPF, IP addressing and everything. Show IP route, we are learning route through OSPF as the symbol mentioned here. O, inter area route, summary route coming from 172.16.1.0 and so on. So on router 3 we want actually to configure the authentication between router 3 and router 1. Authentication, you can enable it on an area basis or by configuring authentication and the router configuration command, or per interface basis. So let's go under the interface serial 00, interface serial 0/0/0 and IP OSPF authentication, and specify the type of authentication. There is actually null, which is no authentication at all, and message digest, or IP OSPF authentication, and use the authentication. First we need to enable authentication by issuing the command IP OSPF authentication. Then we need to use IP OSPF authentication and specify key. I'm going to use a Cisco. Just for demonstration purposes, don't use this key because it's the most crackable, and don't use it. Okay. At this point I'm going to go to router 1 and do a debug command and see what will. As you see here, immediately when we enable debugging on router 1, we can see that on serial 00 there is a mismatch authentication type. Input packet specified type 1, which is plain test password on router 3, but we use type 0, that's router 1. On router 1 there is no authentication, which is type 0. So let's go to global configuration command, and in there an interface which is serial 00, in this case 0/0 on router 1, and IP OSPF authentication, to enable the authentication, specify the command IP OSPF authentication, and to use the key, authentication followed by K and Cisco. Received hello from media 0 and exchange, and we can see that neighbor has come up, loading to full. So we formed neighbor relationship again between router 3 and router 1. To verify configuration of authentication under an interface, issue the command show IP OSPF interfaces, and as you can see here, serial 01 on router 1 is not configured with nothing, as you can see here, neighbor count, adjacency, and so on. So there is no authentication at all under serial 00. Okay, let's do it again. Simple password authentication is enabled. Okay, let's stop debugger right now by issuing the command do in debug all, abbreviated as do you all. Neighbors, and we have both neighbors. That's all to IP OSPF authentication type 1. If you want to configure, for example, MD5 authentication, which is based on hashing algorithm and is more secure, the password and data is sent in an encrypted manner, so you can issue the command. Let's say we want to configure authentication between router 1 and router 2. In this case, we need to go under serial 01 and type IP OSPF authentication message digest. Okay, let's specify the type of authentication, IP OSPF authentication message digest, and then IP OSPF authentication IP OSPF message digest K, and specify the K ID. Let's say K number 1 MD5 sorry, followed by a password. Let's say up there, for example, and hit enter. If we will go to router 2, Hopefully you can see some messages generated. As you can see here, mismatch authentication type, input packet specified type 2, we use type 0. So the router 2 is saying that he uses type 0, no authentication at all, but router 1 is sending hello packets with authentication using MD5 hash, which is type 2 authentication. And to fix this problem, actually we need to go to router 2 and under the serial link IP OSPF authentication and specify the type of authentication, message digest in this case, and IP authentication message digest to specify the key. The key, by the way, it need to match on both routers. If you are sending type 1 and the other router, the other side is configured with type 2, the neighbor would not form. So we use type 1 followed by MD5, and the password also need to match on both sides. In this case, neighbor will come up. Loading to full. So sure enough, we form neighbor relationship and we are exchanging route securely, and the password is encrypted in like type 0 or type 1, which use no authentication at all. I hope that have been informative for you, and thank you for watching.